Ferdie, come, sit. Okay, hi guys. Welcome to another episode of Unpacking It with MJ and Ferdie. Please excuse Ferdie for finishing off buttoning his shirt in front of everybody.
Hey guys,
It's what happens when someone runs late.
Unpacking It.
With MJ and Ferdie.
Can we normalize not dancing?
With MJ and Ferdie.
Some of us can't dance,
With MJ.
but it's so good. It's
Hey
so
guys,
nice.
wait, before we start, can you ladies please back your sister up? So last week Ferdie and I were actually cleaning our home. Like, I'm talking spring cleaning, right? And I think what time did you start? Around 11, right? 11, 12ish.
Yeah.
But it was a whole day thing because we had to keep taking breaks to comfort the little man. So in between, I think we thought about something really tiny. Right?
No.
Guys, I was hangry, okay? First of all, I'm a woman. Yes, I just used the I'm a woman card. Secondly, I have all these hormones and postpartum stuff going through, right? And I was hungry.
Really?
So I was hungry.
See, my problem is the one moment we're laughing together, and I had good quality jokes, like quality jokes. All of a sudden, she's not laughing at my jokes.
They were not funny.
Like they were, babe. They were
No,
funny.
no.
I'm a funny guy. Like they were quality jokes, and now all of a sudden she doesn't wanna laugh. I got angry. Like those jokes were good. They
For
were
the
very
record,
good.
lesson should be, if your woman is hungry, feed her and keep the mood light and happy and bubbly. She'll come around.
And if jokes are nice, give credit.
Okay, but don't expect me to laugh when I'm hungry.
Oh, you must
First
laugh.
feed me. At least feed me, then maybe with that part, then I'll just be angry and then I'll be able to laugh.
But
Anyway,
the jokes were good.
so today, Ferdie and I are, what are we doing?
We are needing to reason.
It's, you know how Isaiah 1 verse 18 says, "Come now, let us reason together." Yeah. So today it's, I suppose, reasoning, but between us two.
Two.
And it's not like a, yeah.
Because we have a point of contention.
Yes, well, we're not agreeing, right? So my point is, my point is, yeah, they must know. Okay, so our contention is around influence versus counsel, right? Because we happen to
Give context where it came from.
Okay,
the
we
discussion
happen
in the
to have been, can I say, spectators, yeah, of like conflict between people that we care about. So in how they were handling it, I asked Ferdie, I'm like, do you think one person is kind of getting their counsel from Hollywood, right? As in like movies and everything that we watch. And then Ferdie was like, no, perhaps Hollywood may have influenced them, but they didn't counsel them. And I'm like, no, it's counsel in a way, because you're basically taking what Hollywood did and you're applying it to your situation and basically expecting a similar outcome to what you would have seen said on TV, right? So from where I'm standing, I believe that counsel and influence, firstly, they come up to the same outcome. And then secondly, within counsel and influence, you always have a choice to either take something or decide on if you're going to do this. And my context is, for example, with influencers. An influencer could move you from one product to another. They've influenced you, but you as a person, you as a person, you as a person had a choice to make that, okay, I'm going to move from product A to buying product B. So you've been influenced, but at the same time, it's kind of like you taking their counsel, because you're saying, because person A uses this product, I'm going to use this product.
See, and my argument is, what she's saying, well, it is true. My argument is, counsel is a lot more refined and pronounced than you make it. Influence, yes, I get it. Because influence, unfortunately, we may not like it, but influence happens one of two ways, right? It can happen consciously. You can be consciously influenced by an influencer, quote unquote. So they can tell you, buy this product, and you buy that. You've been influenced, right? Yeah. And if you want to call it counsel, fair enough, right? And the other side is you could be influenced without actually realize that you've been influenced, right? And I'll give you an example, right? You know how I hate watching movies like 12 Years a Slave? Like any of those kind of movies, they make me, you know why? I told you why, right?
You said they make you angry and they give you these feelings that it's almost like, because most of the time they racial based in a way. It's almost like they give you some sort of feelings, or rather like feelings of discontentment, or rather like being upset with the other race. Yeah,
exactly, right. And we're not trying to do that because we are Christians. We do not see race. We do not see, we are all equal.
Yes, because we are all created in the image of God. Yeah.
All of us.
I guess that's
equal.
what we believe.
All of us. No one is, we are all equal.
Superior than the other.
So anyway, we can never hate someone else. But anyway, the reason why I don't do that is because I realize that even if I don't want, the reason why I stopped watching in the first place is because I know they influence me towards a negative,
But you have a choice to still not be influenced even though you watch it.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Even when I watch it, I'm making choices and I'm saying that I don't want to feel like this.
Yeah.
But guess what? I'm still feeling like it. So what did I end up doing? I ended up stopping watching those kind of movies, right? Why? Because they influence me. So as much as I want to have a choice, the choice is being taken away from me. So now it's a fight, it's a struggle, because on this one hand, I don't want to do it. On the other hand,
you're doing it even though you don't want to do it.
Exactly.
Babe, if you don't want to do something, you don't do it. For example, I watch those movies, right? And I've chosen for them to not influence me in a way that, yes, if I'm going to have a discontentment towards, say, a person of a different race, or a person in general, it's going to be unmarried. So it's going to be because person A did something, did B, and it upset me, or it put me in a bad mood. It's not going to be because 12 years as slaves, because colonization, now I chose not to be influenced.
But that's what I'm saying. Influence, it may not be that for you, but influence works two ways. Sometimes it's conscious and sometimes it's subconscious. So
you do understand that there's also solicited counsel and unsolicited counsel, right?
See, the way counsel works is even if it's unsolicited, it always has to be conscious. You cannot be subconsciously counseled. So if it's unsolicited counsel, the only difference is it hasn't been asked for, but it's been given. You can still decide and make the decision that it's wrong or right?
Okay.
And solicited counsel, you ask for counsel and you make a decision based on that. So with advice or counsel, there's always an element of making a decision. However, with influence, as much as there is an element of making a decision, what changes the whole thing is what makes it so different from counsel is the fact that there are circumstances and instances where you literally do not have any power against it. Like again, going back to my example, I consciously tell myself that I don't want to feel this, but the movie has provoked my feelings in such a way that I have lost control. So now
you lose control, and then who then makes a decision for you?
No, but that's what I'm saying. You're not making a decision.
So it's almost like you're going with the flow, even though you don't want to go with the flow.
Exactly. Yo,
babe.
So think about it. Even think about everything that happens. All the hate which is happening in this world. When you watch it, you constantly tell yourself that this is not our world. You constantly tell yourself that there is better out there. But guess what? You still have that feeling of hurt and that feeling of disappointment.
Yes.
And you can't shake it off.
Yes, but the feelings are never denied, babe. Yeah. I'm just saying, when it comes to being influenced and being cancelled, at the end of the day, the result is the same in terms of you can decide. Okay, here's the thing, right? Okay, there's a thing of, say, when you're in an environment where, say, your friends are doing something that is worldly, right? There's them telling you, friend, let's partake in this, and you say no. Then there's you just chilling around with them, and then eventually say partaking in whatever worldly activity they're doing, right? Make an example. In that instance, the counsel would be if your friend said, let's do it, and you still get a choice to say yes or no, right?
Yes.
So because we are fleshly people, and generally we are more inclined to follow our flesh, chances are eventually, say, if you chill with those people for long enough, you'll end up doing what they're doing. But are you then saying you didn't have a choice? You had a choice.
No,
you could have.
No, I get it. You had the choice.
Yeah.
But remember how influence works. Again, I go back to how influence works. Influence, it takes away the choice from you, and it makes it seem as if you're making a choice, when in actual reality, you're not making a choice.
Then who's making it for you?
It's the influence. That is literally what the carnal nature means. The carnal nature, the idea of being a carnal nature is the fact that we feel, that's why we need to die to self. That's why we need Christ. Because if ever you feel as if everything is within your context, even the angels who fell, if you read the book Story of Redemption, right? The writer says that the angels who fell, right? They made their decisions of rebellion thinking that they did. When things started going haywire, when the war was had in heaven, they realized that they had taken decisions which they didn't actually decide to do. It wasn't their choice to do, but they were made to think that it was their choice, but they were outworking the ideas of someone else. The same way someone could literally, when we're talking about church, right? How many times have you heard people say, this preacher says, this preacher says? It influences their ideas. So they think that they're choosing the choice of words, but the choice of words, they're not actually choosing. They've been influenced and they're regurgitating what they've heard. Right? So that's what I'm saying. Influence. And guys, the reason why this becomes a very important subject is for us to realize that sometimes we do not have control in what influences us. You can switch on a light and switch it off. So
but that's what I think. But that's kind of the point that I'm making, where I'm saying I feel like you could be aware, like you could kind of know and then know when to jump out. You know what I mean? I suppose the best solution is always to abstain altogether, especially if it's things that are not in line with what you believe in. Like, don't even get started. But in the event that you get started, I feel like you kind of have an idea or see when you're being influenced, be it by your environment, be it by your company, be it by anything.
But influence is over time, babe.
Yeah, so all I'm saying is, at one day you're gonna wake up and be on some no man, but something has changed, and then you're able to then make a decision to be on some, listen, I'm not trying to be here, so let me go back to where I want to be.
Okay.
Hence, I'm saying cancel, influence, same outcome, same person who can say I have a choice to.
No, but like I'm telling you, the difference is subtle. The difference is very subtle.
Okay.
The difference is in influence. Influence, it goes ahead and does something. Again, look at hip hop. Back in the 90s, where people used, well, in the 80s, I suppose, people used to be fully clothed. And around, people were fully clothed. But as we now go into our new dispensation, we now have people where it's okay, it's very okay to not be fully dressed, right? And
it's
now
because people decided that, listen.
Exactly, but how did people
sell.
decide? How did people move from, because you can't just move from being extremely conservative one day to being extremely liberal. There has to be something which moved in between. And that in between was the power of influence. Certain people did certain things, and over time, that's how influence works. Over time, people's minds were shaped such that when people were going to a shop, when they get that outfit which is revealing, they are not outworking of where they would have outworked. They're not. It's not it's not the full nourishment of their thought processes, but it's the nourishment of thought processes which have been put in the subconscious mind, such that now this has become normal. So then people say, this is what I want, when actual fact, they don't want that. So it goes back to even with drugs, right? People are made to think that this is what I want, when in actual fact, the choice has been taken away from you.
But you made the initial choice to say, I'm going to partake in say.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you haven't, especially with people who come from communities where there's a lot of drugs. Sometimes it's not a choice which they've made. The choice has been taken away from them. So they are outworking what they think, I'm making this choice. But they don't have any choice, because the influence, the power of influence has swept them so much that they can't even realize that they don't have a choice. That's why Christ needed to come. In Christ's day, the Jewish people, do you think when they're putting those laws, do you think they understood or they knew what they were doing? These people, like, just to give you a bit of historic context.
We're not going to make it too long.
Yes.
But yeah.
A bit of historic context, right? By the age of 12, the rabbis would have had to have memorized the entire Torah. They would have, which is the first 4 books of the Bible. They would have had to memorize the ceremonial laws, right? How is it that you know that much, but you can't pick up that Christ has come? It's because in that era, They had gotten to a place where influence had influenced them so much, tradition had influenced them so much. When they made choices, when they thought they were doing it for God, they were actually not making choices for God. It was just an outworking of the tradition. That's why it was easy for them to claim that Jesus was committing blasphemy, yet they wanted to kill him. Right? They wanted to kill him, commit a sin by condemning a sin. How is that possible? How do you condemn a sin while committing another sin? It's because you think that your choice, you're right, whereas influence is actually working differently.
Okay, you know what? As we're having this conversation, I'm just being reminded of this verse that says that a time shall come where people will be deceived, even the very elect. So one of the reasons, or rather the point, I suppose, of this argument is more on let's know, or rather be able to distinguish what influence, I suppose, and counsel is. And also, please let us know in the comment section below on how you understand it. Because clearly, Ferdie and I are coming from different camps, and we're probably going to continue this discussion even offline. But in so saying, let's guard our hearts, let's guard our minds, let's guard our environments. After all, we even Proverbs says that bad company ruins good character. And I suppose it's also then speaking to influence, or rather the counsels that we receive in these circles. So for our Christian brothers and sisters, I suppose it's just
or that phrase, by beholding we become changed.
Exactly.
We don't choose to be changed. It's because we behold, we become changed. Then when we act on that change, we didn't choose to act like that.
We chose to behold.
No.
We chose to behold.
No. The power of influence, guys. The power of influence is serious.
Therefore,
it's
if you choose to behold, it means you're putting yourself in a space of influence.
No, but like, what if you're born in a space like that?
Babe, listen. Well, because of time, we're going to have to cut this short. But all we're saying is let's just be a bit more mindful of where we hang out, of what we expose our minds and ourselves to. Yeah. Because wherever we go, we need to remember that we are the temple of God and we are called to be holy. So some of the things that we do, we need to be slightly mindful. And I know we may be sounding all churchy and stuff, but it's really as real as it gets. It's as simple as that. Like if Christ calls us to be holy, there's no two ways or two streets about it. Therefore, we have to be really mindful of counsel and influence. Any last words, Ferdie?
No. I hope you guys can help us with this deadlock.
Please, because I honestly don't see it. And the thing is, my mind is stuck on influencer. Okay, changes my decision. But anyway, listen, we're not going to go on again. Please subscribe. Please like.
Again, the word influencer does not really do justice to the actual term influence. Like, just putting it out there.
That's another one, guys. We're going to take this offline, but do let us know what you think in the comments section. Anyway, as always.